Hey, what's going on, COINOPTV subscribers? Robert Welkner here with a Skype cast for Blitzwinger over on youtube.com/Blitzwinger. He's over in Canada. I'm in LA. We're Skyping to you. We're going to talk to you in this video about Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel Superheroes. Good day to you, Blitzwinger.
Good day to you, Robert.
Did you get to play?
By the way, I'm sorry that I'm wearing the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. You might have noticed that. That's just a coincidence.
I'm wearing my VidCon shirt. Look at that.
We're breaking the fourth wall here.
So, no, we're talking to you guys directly. We're looking at the camera. We're looking at each other. We want you guys to type in the comments what your thoughts are as we talk. So, first of all, I've played Disney Infinity 1. I've played Disney Infinity 2. Have you played both the games, and what are your thoughts?
Yes, I have played Disney Infinity 1. Great, good start. I thought it was a good foundation. You know what I mean? It was a good first entry, and it was very important for them to build on that. Disney Infinity 2, I have to preface that I'm probably going to be somewhat biased because I'm a huge superhero comics fan and whatever it is. Just in general, I read a ton of comics. I read, follow, all the news with films and such. So as a result of that, I probably favor the game a little bit higher than most people would, just because it's Marvel superheroes and I get to collect some awesome figures. So I thought it was good, like a good game. Like if I had to give it a rating, it's probably like a 7 out of 10. Just because I think that, considering it's their second one, they needed to do some things different, and it felt like they did a lot of things the same. And there was a lot of reskins and maybe in certain regards even step backs. Because for me personally, I think that the cool thing about the playsets with the first game is that they felt distinct enough and they felt different. You know what I mean? Whereas here, I felt like we were always in a city. It was always the same type of city environment. It was Spider-Man City, which is New York City, of course, Avengers, and then, of course, we also get... with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but again, it's also kind of like a city structure. So it always felt like I was playing within the same kind of environment. I think it would have been a lot cooler for them to do something with maybe Namor, so that you could go underwater or something. You know what I mean? To just give a very stark difference. You know what I mean? With Disney Infinity 1, it was very different with each playset.
So let's talk about the playsets. So Disney Infinity 1 came out of the box with 3 playsets, the Monsters, Incredibles, and...
not Toy Story. Monsters, Incredibles, not Cars. Oh my God. Look at us, ladies and gentlemen. This is very professional.
Do I have it on here? Wait, I have it on here. Okay, Monsters. Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean. So there it is.
Oh,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
And that was one of my favorites too. That's the problem. That's terrible.
Incredibles, and then good thing I had my cube here right next door. So
we got some props, ladies and gents.
So it came with 3 out of the box. Then you could also buy Toy Story and Cars, and actually a 6th, Tonto, the Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger. You're right. Sorry. Yeah, that one was.
So it was. Yeah, well,
weak side.
I think they were kind of cashing in on hoping the movie would be a big success.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
but that's a lot of 6 play sets for Disney Infinity 1. Now Disney Infinity 2, 3 play sets and only Marvel ones. Nothing for the Disney specific figures, unless they're going to secretly sneak those out. So how does that fare with how do you think about what does that ring true to you, or where's that going?
I think. I was genuinely surprised because I thought, first of all, they did 3. I was like, okay, well, it makes sense, with the Marvel characters, that's a fair amount of playsets, right? But then I thought that when the Disney Originals would come out, that they would throw something in there, maybe for Big Hero 6 or something, especially because if you look at the toy box, there's a lot of items from Big Hero 6. Like, you know what I mean? Like the customization and everything. There's definitely enough there to build another city. But I think it was another case of how do we make this city feel different? And that's the main thing, is that I feel like, look, with Pirates, we got a very distinct, like there was, on-water combat and things like that. So it was really cool in that regard. With Monsters University, we were in this kind of like dorm environment, which was very, very different in terms of how it felt and the humor style to something like The Incredibles was. So all 3 of those playsets, those initial ones, were very, very distinct. And here, it just felt like we got the same, especially with Avengers and Spider-Man. I feel like those are way too similar. Like they are very, 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 very similar to one another. And then aesthetically, Guardians is different, but other than that, they kind of blend together a little too much for my personal liking. So I was surprised that we didn't get any more, or haven't, at least at the time of this recording. We don't know. Maybe we will. But I also think that even the ones we got were kind of too close to one another. Yeah, what do you think? Did you feel that way, or am I being crazy?
No, you're not being crazy. These are all honest things. I'd cut you off and say, you're wrong. No, I disagree, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, Avengers and Spider-Man were very similar. In fact, it was weird that they kind of cut off some of the crossover things, because at that point I feel like, you know, hey, we should be able to just cross over everything. My least favorite playset was the Guardians, which is a shame because I really love the movie and stuff, and I just got very confused in that. Very disappointed that there was no San Fran Tokyo, I believe it was called, in
San Fran Tokyo,
in Big Hero 6. Much like how I thought they dropped the ball last year with not having a Frozen playset, you know, with Anna and Elsa.
That is the biggest mistake I think they've ever made, and I bet you they're kicking themselves in the back, in the behind for that one too, because it's just that, like, considering how much of a cash cow that franchise has become, I mean, they could literally release a playset now, and I still think it would do well.
Yeah, there should be a Frozen playset for Disney Infinity 2.0, like with Olaf, you know, Olaf and a play piece.
That would be so cool.
I would pay $40, $30 for that, or whatever they are.
Yeah, they could put Sven, Olaf, and a playset. There you go.
Don't trust Sven.
I know.
Or Kristoff, which my friend I mix up my guys.
Yeah. Sven was the reindeer. Kristoff was the guy. He was the hatchet guy, and then her boyfriend. I forget his name. Anna's boyfriend. I forgot. I should know this because my cousins watch this movie way too much.
It's good.
I've heard "Let It Go" about a gajillion times.
It's great. I love Frozen. I'd love to play more.
I know that's the thing. I think that, like, that's the one thing that Disney Infinity has over any other franchise, except for maybe stuff like Nintendo as well, is that it's got that nostalgia factor and also that kind of like charm where it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be. It just needs to work and feel different enough to where you're like, oh, now I'm within the Frozen universe. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you really need to execute on. And again, as we mentioned, it feels like a lot of the playsets this year, unfortunately, felt too similar. And I think in general, it was a huge missed opportunity to do something interesting and do something innovative this year with the playsets themselves. Because I think it would have been really cool. Like, you know how they did the crossover characters? Like, you could take the Hulk over from into the Spider-Man playset or something like that from the Avengers one, or Rocket. I mean, there was obviously a little bit of that going on. But I think it would have been cool if they did like a whole little story that you could do if you own the playsets, so that you could transition from playset to play. Like, you could say halfway through the mission, now we're heading to Spider-Man City, and you change the playsets, and that would add like that kind of like element of like, ooh, it makes sense for me to collect all of these, and they're rewarding me greatly for doing so. Especially because this time it's all Marvel characters who constantly have crossover events in the comic books, so it makes perfect sense. Like, it makes no sense as to why would I don't know, why would not Iron Man go and visit Spider-Man? Like, it makes sense, you know, with, let's say, Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Yeah, you could kind of justify that, you know, you shouldn't bring in Sully into the Pirates of the Caribbean.
But, well, you know, he got the little door, you know, he'd come and visit Jack Sparrow in his sleep. I
wonder who would scare whom with that one.
Throw some rum or something at him.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch gears. Okay, so we've given our opinion on the play sets. Let's talk about some of the characters, because I think this is a part that they actually did get right. I think some of the sound effects, some of the movements, when Captain America is charging up his shield and he tosses it and it goes like bing, 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 and you hear that vibration sound, or the Hulk, you know, smashing and clapping and punching. So what are some of the standout characters for you in the game?
Venom is my favorite. Venom is my favorite character just because his gameplay is super useful. I got a really powerful super attack with that, like where he sends like the symbiote thing forward, which is really sweet. Hulk is awesome, of course. I actually really, really like Nova. He's Yeah, you like him too?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I always put Nova as like my top
Yeah,
3.
I'm surprised. Very few people like actually speak about him. Like, have you played as him? Like, some of his attacks are just like ridiculously cool. Like, he's a really, really neat character and really, really fun to play. And I think that that's why he is a crossover character to such an extent. And a lot of people are like, huh, what? Nova? But I think it's because as they were designing him, they realized how fun he is to play as. And I think that, again, what you said is, I think it is a good point to raise that they did do a good job with the character roster, especially in regards to, they could have just gone with, just the core Avengers and maybe add like, the big heroes outside of that, like Spider-Man and somebody like that. But they did do some obscure characters. We did get some different characters. And then, of course, at the time of this recording, those characters are not yet available. But we are going to get like Yondu, Loki, and Green Goblin as well, right? So it is cool that we're also getting some bad guys with the lineup, so that's neat. And again, if they make another Marvel-themed game, I would like to see a little bit more variety in characters, because I think that the one thing they didn't do particularly great is I don't think there was enough female characters. Because, for example, for me, I've got cousins who are, both of them are girls, and they play the games, they love them as well, but they couldn't really relate to many of the characters because most of them were just like, hulking dudes and everything. So it would be nice, for them to include Captain Marvel and include some of those really cool female characters in there, like She-Hulk or something like that,
Oh, yeah, She-Hulk, and she's been an Avenger, many times. Yeah. I guess, maybe they can have a disc to change the Thor into female now, since the comic books,
that's actually a really good idea. You're right. I think that would be a good idea for them to not have to do 2 versions, is to do a disc. Like, if they could have the power disc, right? So you put it, and then it turns Hulk into She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And that's a really great idea. Look at this. Disney Infinity executives, please hire this man. They'll come up with ideas for you.
Johnny V watches our shout outs to Johnny V and the gang at Avalanche. They watch a lot of our videos and stuff like that, and very great guys. They're always open to communication. So if you guys leave comments below, they may read them in this video or tweet them.
And they do read them, by the way. Like, he's not making this up. They are really Johnny V. He really does interact with the community a lot, and I love the fact that those guys, they really are open to like criticism, as long as it's constructive. Like, you can't just, this is terrible. Like, typical people would explain yourself. Explain what would you like to see different, whatever it is. And they will listen. And that's a really wonderful thing because, for a company at that scale to actually listen and do a lot of their community initiatives they do, I think that's admirable because I think it's just really cool. Like, the Toy Box Summit, I think, is something very, very cool.
Yeah. We'll have to try and get to that next year if they do that again. So I want to wrap this video up before it gets too long. We both sound like we're fans of the games. Looking ahead, 2015, it's a pretty safe bet that there'll be a Disney Infinity 3. I'm hoping I'm hoping they just call it 3 and not 3.0 because that's a little confusing.
I don't understand why it was 0.0 because I'm still sitting here expecting that there'll be like point something, right? Because it's like, why would you put the
2.5 with She-Hulk and all these characters. Maybe. But there's lots of fans thinking Star Wars will be the next jumping thing. We actually joked about in the Lego Batman video we put together about that. Is that where you want things to go? If not, where would you like to see Disney Infinity 3. Whatever they're calling it, go.
Yeah, it'll be like 3.257. They're just random. They're like, yep, just deal with it. You got to pronounce that. I think that it's a very safe bet that they're going with the Star Wars theme because, there's just been a lot of hints towards it from even Johnny V and other people at the company kind of, hey, the Force is with us, and like
I check Johnny's check-ins on Foursquare whenever he's in San Francisco up at Lucas Ranch. I'm watching to see how many times he goes up there for meetings, right?
Johnny, be careful. You've got a big fan here.
No, I'm just kidding. And I don't even know if you have to go to Lucas Ranch anymore anyway because I sold
That's
it.
That's a good point too. Yeah. But I think it's a safe bet. The one thing I personally would like to see more so than anything, again, very, very excited about the potential of like some of the characters. I hope they don't just stick to the kind of the human characters. I think it would be really cool if we could get some of the characters from like the older Star Wars games as well. Like I think that most likely what they might do, in my opinion, is probably do the playsets in the style of maybe the new Star Wars, the old Star Wars, and then maybe the animated series. So like do the playsets like that. For each one of those, but I just hope that we do get some of those, like, you know, General Grievous and some of those really different kind of characters, not human per se characters, because that would be really cool visually. But the number one thing I'm hoping for is improvement in gameplay. I'm worried that what Disney Infinity might become is they did the first one and it sold exceptionally well and it's great. And then this year it was basically, hey, let's do the same thing but with Marvel characters. And then the year after, let's do the same thing with Star Wars characters. And that's great and all, but the problem is if the gameplay is staying at the same point and the exploration is at the same point and all these different elements are staying stagnant, that's 3 years of a reskinned game. And that's something that I definitely would like. Like, again, as we talked about, don't get me wrong, there's elements to the Marvel game that is really cool. Like, the sound has gotten better. The combat is way better. I like the system of the RPG elements of leveling up your character in a certain way. That's excellent. But we need more. We need more in the actual game, not in the kind of back of the game, but like in the actual game, different missions, more variety, more diversity of the actual enemies and things like that. I think that would be pretty cool to see.
Okay, so it sounds you got great points there. If it is Star Wars, definitely you have room for the Rebels, animated show, old school, new school, The Force Awakens. I'm going to throw out something additional that I want to see, and this is very fan specific. Every video I put up for Disney Infinity, they just want to see a Gravity Falls playset. They want to see Gravity Falls figures.
Me too.
I've never seen Gravity Falls at all, and I keep promising people that I'm going to watch. It's not on Netflix, and I need to get some.
The problem is it's not even on DVD. I've had to I bought the first I think they have the first 6 episodes or something like that, and then 2 other random DVDs. So I bought those, but then since then, what I've been doing is just like DVRing all the different episodes, and then that's how I'm catching up on them. But it is a really, really cool show. Very, very, very clever and smart, and definitely deserves a playset for sure. And it definitely has enough unique qualities to make for a really cool playset. I think that would make for a really exciting playset. I also want a Darkwing Duck playset, by the way.
Okay. We're throwing these things out there, and there's still time for Frozen, Baymax, or Big Hero 6 playset. Even sort of something with Mickey and Goofy and Donald to play around in. Even if it's like the Disneyland theme park, but actually a playset with a story and an adventure. Goofy gets lost. That is an excellent idea. We got to ride the Matterhorn and travel around and do things.
That's a good idea. I think that's an excellent idea. I mean, that would be perfect, especially now that they could do bigger toy boxes. For sure, why not? Recreate the Disneyland for us. That'd be awesome. I think that's a great idea. That'd be really cool. And you could do some cool missions, you know what I mean? Like helping find some costumes or mascots, or do different variations of I think that's a great idea.
Even if it's, pin trading is a big thing at the park. Even if you have to go, and do that.
Yeah, and they could probably sell those as well as power discs or something.
Yes. So, guys watching at home, thanks a bunch. Blitzwinger, youtube.com/Blitzwinger, awesome channel. Soon the guy's going to have 600K subs. Soon he's going to have 1 million K subs. Anytime he can jump on and talk with us about some games, I'm very generous of his time. Very grateful. Thanks a bunch. I think we throw out some great topics. Now you guys are watching this, get a login, get an icon, get a user on YouTube. Yeah. Leave some comments. Talk to us.
Let us know how wrong we were in many of the things. We want to hear it. But then also leave some suggestions, because a lot of times there's some really, really cool things that you guys come up with and things that we don't even think about, especially because sometimes I feel like we're so in it. We don't sometimes, step away and think of the general public. So I think it'd be really cool to hear from you guys. What is it that you think as a casual fan, or maybe a fan of only Disney Infinity? Did you really like it? What were the elements that you enjoyed? What were the elements you didn't enjoy? Because I think that's a really interesting conversation, and I'll definitely check out the comment section and try to interact with some of you guys as well in the comments to just see what kind of discussion we can get going.
Awesome. Well, thanks a bunch, Blitzwinger. Thanks a bunch, all you Infinity collectors, for watching this video. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace out, guys.